Namaste, everybody, and happy Wednesday. It's been a minute since I jumped on here with all of you. And today I could feel my guides on my shoulders like, Natalie, you have to talk about this. You have to talk about this. And I'm like, okay, today's the day. So, hello, it's good to see you. It's nice to be seen in this way. And I feel like this is a topic that is very prevalent in our world at the moment. So, which is why I feel like I've really been nudged to like talk about this. About a month ago, I was working out in Orlando, and I was there for a couple of days. And there was a woman there that I met on this project, and we got on the subject of law of attraction. There was about six of us like sitting talking about it. And there was one woman that's like, yeah, you just have to be positive and think positive things, and positive things happen, and da da. And I know there's law of attraction. I understand law of attraction, but I also understand that there's a lot of people that are like, I don't believe in that. It makes no sense. Da da da. Now, there is certain things to it that are correct. And then there's other things that I'm like, people are really forgetting like the bigger spiritual picture to this, which is what this woman next to me actually kind of began to bring up. So this girl sitting next to me says, she goes, I'm glad we're talking about this. She says, because I'm really struggling with this right now, with this whole law of attraction thing. And she says, I'm from Palestine, she said, and I live in America. And she said, and we escaped Palestine. We managed to get here. And she says, and I'm watching this genocide happen. And she's like, and she says, and then I hear people talk about law of attraction. And she goes, and I'm just like, oh, so these little 5-year-old kids just need to think positive thoughts and they're not going to be murdered. And she was like, I'm having such a hard time with this whole like get a positive mindset when there's these horrors going on that, obviously this woman is very connected to. And I was really glad that she actually brought that subject up, because it did prompt me to say, I believe that I have a little bit of insight into that, because me coming from the perspective of, the spirit world and like in home, heaven, whatever you call it, where we came from. So prior to taking these bodies, before we come into a body, we sit down with our elders, our guides, and we actually choose. So we choose the body, we choose the parents, we choose certain things about the journey. Much like if you were taking a trip from like LA to New York, you're going to map out, I'm going to get in the car and we'll do a pit stop in, Arizona, and then we'll stop and maybe we'll dip down to Texas. And then you kind of map it out. So you have this roadmap. But when you get in the car, you have free will, right? So you get in and there's things that you can do. You can be like, I don't even want to go to New York. I think we're just going to go up to Montana or wherever. So prior to you taking the body, you sit down and with your spirit guide, you choose, okay, because everything is about the expansion of the soul, right? It's about learning and this, your spirit having this unbelievable experience so that we can learn. Everything is about learning. So when you take a body and you come here, there's certain things that you pick. And we call that soul contracts. Like you contract to that. So much like, when you're on earth, there's contracts that you will sign and you're contracting to that. It's the same as a soul. So there's certain people that you will come back with and do another life with because you've not finished learning the karma with each other. So you pick each other several lifetimes to play different roles. So maybe you'll be the mother, they'll be the son, maybe you'll be the father, they'll be the brother, maybe you'll be husband and wife, maybe you'll be best friends, maybe you'll be neighbor. Depending on each life and how much you've worked through together, you will come back again and do the relationship in a different way, just so you can get every single perspective, every angle, so you can learn everything. So your soul can get to that place of love, of forgiveness, and of really learning as much as you can from one another. There's many people that come in many lifetimes and bring in the same souls because they love learning with them. And even when we're here, we go, why on earth would I bring this person back with me? There's no way. But your soul knows why. And it's not really until you've left a physical body and you go back and you're like, okay, yep, I see why. But sometimes when we have the physical parameters, it's hard to see the spiritual vision. So as we were at the table and the woman is talking about like being from Palestine and like law of attraction. And I'm like, I think that was one of my biggest issues with law of attraction, is that I fully understand mindset is everything, because the universal mind knows no difference. So whether you're deciding what you're imagining in your mind And whether it's happening, the universal mind doesn't know the difference. So it's going to bring whatever you decide forward, right? But we also have to keep in mind that prior to coming here, we do choose certain things and we have these contracts that we come in to uphold. And within that, there are certain lives that are called sacrificial lives. So there are certain souls that will take a sacrificial life. So they will choose to come in and say there's a part like, oh, we need a child for this. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough in the physical body, but you will only live a few years and then you will leave. But you're going to cause a ripple effect that is going to help humanity. That soul will say, send me in. And those are very wise souls, by the way, super wise souls that choose those lives to come in. So they will come in and take that knowing it's going to be short lived. But what's going to happen to them and what they're going to go through is they're kind of sacrificing that life, if you will, for the greater good of all, knowing that there's going to be a ripple effect of people fighting for peace and for unity and for love and for no more wars and to help. So all of these souls, everybody that is playing a part right now, like everyone that's in a body is playing a part. Think of it like this is a movie. It is a dream of sorts where you're playing a certain part and you're upholding the agreements that you agreed to. But we do have free will. So at any time that someone takes a body and they have contracted, you can rescind contracts. You can end contracts, much like you can in the physical. If there's something that you're contracting to and you really are like, I can't do this anymore, I really physically can, you can end that contract. You can end it early. You can play it out. It's really up to you. So when I was talking to this girl and I started to explain, these souls know what they're doing. Like we all know what we're doing. Like all of us do contract to things and we come in knowing that we are serving a certain purpose and other people in physical bodies can't see it. Like we look at these little children, listen, all over the world, and even not just in this time, but of the horrible wars that have come before, we look at people who have been victims and we say, oh, this is terrible. Instead of saying, wait a minute, I'm only seeing through physical eyes. So if I can pull back to see the higher perspective, I can see there was a reason for that because it did cause people to start to say, that's not okay. We have to do better. We have to come in and we have to do better. So every single soul that is living here and is in a body, they're here for a reason. They really are. There's no mistakes. Like the divine does not make mistakes. So they come in and they choose these roles in these bodies to play these parts for the greater good. Yes, of course, there is law of attraction, which means, but it's not just like, oh, I'm going to sit here and just be like, everything's positive thoughts are going to have positive outcomes. Of course, it is the quantum field we're in. But if you're living in horrors, if you're in a place, a war zone, that's not really going to help, right? Like being like, oh, I'm just going to pretend that, this is not happening. That's like kind of putting the Band-Aid over the problem. But knowing, well, wait a minute, there is a reason to this. Like and when you're in a physical body, the soul's maybe not necessarily going to tell that mind like, hey, you're a very wise soul in this body. You chose this for right now. The kid is just trying to be the kid and trying to survive. But there is a bigger picture at play. There always is. The physical perspective is a lower perspective. When you only see through the eyes of the physical, you can't see everything beyond that. There is so much more going on behind the scenes that physical people cannot see. And what we assume to be the truth is merely that it's our perspective from this limitation of being in the physical body. But there are others living in bodies and having an experience which is totally out of our reality that they have contracted to, and they've done it as a sacrificial life. They've taken it knowing it'll be a short life, but I'll do it to try and help humanity, to try and bring peace to the world, to try and help people transcend and step back into the place of love, and to learn that war is terrible. It's not good in any way, shape, or form. So there's a lot of things at play more than what we can possibly see. So it did spur me when we were having this conversation to be like, you know what? I think I need to talk about that because I know there's so many people out there that are like, like I'm on this side of it and I'm on that side of it. And I'm like, none of that is really what's important. What's important is that this is spiritually playing out as it's supposed to, so that we can learn and we can get the lesson and we can come in from the future, like all these future souls that are taking bodies now, to do better, to be better. But those lives were chosen and those souls chose those lives. And I know it's hard. It's hard to say, well, why would someone choose that? You're not in that body and you are not that soul. So you're not supposed to know that. They know. They know why they chose it. It's part of their, whether it's karma, whether they did something in a past life that they're like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to make this my sacrificial life because I did that in a past life. You have to remember the entire universe is checks and balances. There has to be duality. There has to be day, like there has to be night, right? There has to be both. You will never, ever, ever know day without night. You would never know day without night. You have to have both so you can see and appreciate both. So as this is happening, those souls, they know what they're doing. They know the bodies they're coming in. They know the purpose they're here to serve. We don't, and we're not supposed to. But the minute we stand in judgment, we are putting ourselves on the throne of God. We are playing God. That's not okay, and that's bad, and that's good. Well, who are you to judge? Who gave you the throne and said, be God, play God? No one. Our job is to stand here in a place of love and try and do better. Just try and do better. And also, it does come into this place of good or bad. Well, what's good or bad? And people are always like, well, that was bad. That was bad. Well, says who? You don't know what that person's karma is. You don't know why that person is wearing that body and why they chose that this time. You don't know what they did in a past life that they're making amends for in this life. Karma has to play out. It has to play out. It's not up to us to choose, oh, that's good and that's bad. There's only energy, and what we choose to do with it is our choice. But you will say, of course, killing another human being is terrible. I agree. I absolutely agree. Hurting another, deliberately, intentionally hurting another human being is not good. That's my choice. But I don't know what relationships these people were to each other in a past life and what karma they're working out. It does not justify murder. It doesn't justify any of that. It just means if we can look at it and say there is a higher perspective to this, I'm never going to do that. Like all of you watching, you're never going to pick up a gun and intentionally going to hurt anybody because that's not who you are. But you will see it and you'll instantly want to judge it instead of saying, okay, my soul knows better. And I know I want to be the bringer of love. I want to be someone who is bringing love and peace into this world and choosing kindness over all else and choosing words of kindness and not hurting people and not speaking ill will of people. I want to do good in this world. And we will get lessons that will teach us because that's what we're here for. But for us to look at the horrors of the world and say, well, I don't understand, there's a reason for it. And those souls know. And they're choosing those bodies. And these are sacrificial lives that they have signed up for because their soul knows the agreement. There's a lot of things in this world that you're never going to understand in the physical body and in this time because you're not supposed to. You're just supposed to look at it and be like, I'm going to do the best I can. And I'm going to try and help vibrationally as much as I can. And that is by being love. Because the minute you shift your vibration, remember, you're a part of the entire collective. So the minute you shift your vibration, you're affecting the entire collective. And the minute all of us, when we all stand together in this place of love, taking hands and saying, no more hate, only love, we're going to stand in this place of love. We are the ripple effect for the collective. So those of us who are blessed enough not to be in those war zones, it is our duty to step in and say, okay, obviously these souls chose this. They chose that. So I'm going to choose this because this I can do. If I keep screaming, and getting into that place of anger and hate and all of this, I'm forgetting my transcendence. Of course, do we have to awaken the collective? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong in that. But then what do we do about it? What do we do about it? We can step into that place and say, I'm going to be the love. I'm going to be the change. I'm going to be the light. And I'm not going to judge every single person around me because they too are going through this for their own awakening, for their own experience. I'm going to trust that the divine knows what is happening every step of the way, and that there are no mistakes, that all of it is unfolding perfectly because it's unfolding the way it's unfolding. And if there's no mistakes and no coincidences, then I'm going to know that those souls chose that and they know what they're doing. And there is a greater reason for all of this. And I'm going to choose to stay in my path of light and of love and doing what I can. And also knowing that blame is a very dangerous ground to be in. So I'm not going to blame, because again, I don't know what another soul is going through, and I don't know what life they came from. So I'm going to try and stay in that place of non-judgment, but just knowing that as a collective, we can all do better. And I know this video is probably not going to be seen in those countries, but if there is someone right now who is holding a gun or holding a weapon, and you're being told to do something that your soul knows is not the place of love for you, it is not too late to lay that weapon down. It is not too late to surrender to love, to take the higher path, because everything that you are dealing with right now is temporary. You are eternal. You are forever, and you're going to outlive all of this. But you will always face your karma, whether it's in this body or on the other side. You will stand face to face with that person's life that you've taken, or that person that you have hurt, and you will have to take responsibility for that. It is never too late to step into this place of forgiveness and of love, and just saying, I'm not going to participate because this is not really who I am. So let's choose this path today of transcendence, of transmuting everything into love, and to knowing that we're not going to judge, that we're going to trust that the divine has an upper hand, that whether you call God, source, whatever you call it, that it knows what it's doing, and that all of us that are part of the whole, are part of the source, know what we are doing, which means let's choose love. Let's choose that those souls know what they're doing in those bodies. And we're going to be a part of the healing, a part of awakening the collective to us, because we join together in love. We are more powerful than anything. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being here, and thank you for opening your heart. Our messages come in from all over. They're not one person, they're all over, and they come in many different ways. Let's do better every single day. Let's be love. Let's spread kindness, and let's use our vibration to step back, to see the higher perspective at all times, and to know that right where we are, right where you are, God is. Namaste.